Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer, so let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Good afternoon and welcome to Kill Me Now. This is my new annoying voice. Alright, so this is a real Kill Me Now episode because, okay, we are recording in my apartment, so we don't know what's going to happen. Okay. Hennessy is doing something with the fucking equipment, so I'm really afraid. I'm afraid it's not even recording. Is it recording?
Yeah, it's recording.
And we can't have
Does it sound like shit?
No, it doesn't sound like shit.
And no
Don't talk yet!
I'm hot. Okay.
Alright. That's our guest. I was being mean.
Shocking.
This is good. I'm really excited about today's episode. First of all, what's the problem, Hennessy?
I'm just monitoring the levels.
Okay, because your face is annoying me. Okay, so I'm holding the mic. Am I not supposed to hold the mic?
You can hold the mic.
I'm just going to, listeners, here's the new thing. So, number one, we don't have the bell because it's at CBS. So, we're using a beaver for the Jew bell. Okay, that's the beaver. We can't put the air conditioner on, even though it's 400 degrees in here, because it'll make too much noise. And our guest today is one of my favorite people, and she happens to be, ladies and gentlemen, Michele Balan!
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, wait, we also have another special guest. My assistant, Brittany Sowards, is here. Brittany Sowards.
You still don't know how to say
I know how to say your name, Brittany. It's Sowards.
Sowards. Judy?
I said Sowards.
How do you spell it?
Sowards. S-O-W-A-R-D-S.
I'm super excited. Now everyone that listens to your podcast knows who I am.
Yes,
And
Brittany
that you're her
Sowards.
assistant. Okay.
Yeah, and Brittany is, we might have to take a picture with Brittany because Brittany is doing some hair curling thing and has like a do-rag on her head.
Hair curling. My hair is curly. That's all that is happening.
Right, so why do you have the do-rag on?
To keep my hair curly because my hair isn't naturally curly like yours, Judy.
Also, she
because you're not.
Was anybody...
She's not.
Judy, I have a question.
Yes.
Was anybody named Brittany before what year? Before what year?
Brittany, well, there's Britney Spears.
Yeah, but how many Britneys?
Why don't we look up?
When did that name come into play?
We don't have. We don't have.
80s, 90s?
That's a good idea.
I think it's only the 80s. Or like
Only the 80s?
When were you born?
88.
Okay.
Jesus.
Let me
My inner child is older. That's Brittany. See, they didn't have those names when we were born.
No, they did not.
Judy, Michelle.
So, we usually have Patrick, who doesn't do anything but look up stuff, so he could have looked up the first Brittany.
I can look up Brittany.
I'll look up Brittany.
All right, Brittany's looking up Brittany.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I'll be in therapy by the time you find out that information.
So, we only have an hour with Michelle because she has to go to therapy in the same building where I go to therapy.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. The Upper West Side is major
that's
therapy.
That's major therapy up here. And I live all the way downtown. I
know.
schlep all the way up here.
Let me introduce our listeners to the incredible Michele Balan. I've known Michelle for quite some time, and I know her from doing stand-up, and mostly from the lesbo gay circuit. But the thing about Michelle, what Hennessy?
That's how I know her too.
Oh. The thing about Michelle is she also, but we're going to get to this later. I don't want to start with this, but she also is very big on straight cruises. Like, what kind of cruise lines are we talking about?
Norwegian, Royal Caribbean.
So she's on boats with people.
I'm on boats
who voted for Trump and eat a lot, right?
And some very
don't
elderly.
read. A lot of them don't read.
Well, no,
I'm not going to make a general. Yes, I am. I'm going to make a generalization.
No, because
it's America. It's pretty much America.
Yeah.
You're on a ship.
Yeah, exactly. It's
with America. You can't escape.
No, you can't.
You know, let me tell you. This is all I have to say. And is that not plugged in, my mic?
No, you're plugged in.
Yeah.
What? What's this?
Started in the 70s.
Oh, the Britney. Thank you, Britney.
Yes.
Britney started in the 70s. The first
70s?
Britney.
The peak was in the 80s and 1991.
1991 is when the name Britney peaked.
Wow, how do you like that?
People will always know how old I am.
Right, but
Oh, God.
what is going on? I have something in my throat.
Well, it's 1,000 degrees in here. We're
All right,
gonna
shut
die.
up.
I have
All right.
Zika.
No, so anyway, so you, first of all, Judith is in the Bible. How old is Michelle? Can you look that up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the name?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's yeah. That's-
Find out, Michelle. Anyway,
Wow.
Judith, of course, I'm an original.
And I was the first Michelle, also.
So
I walked the desert for 40 years.
we did, you know, you're not out on the cruises.
No, I don't. No, I'm not. No, I don't. No, I'm not.
And how do you feel about not being out on the
Well,
cruises?
you know what?
Is it that you're in, or is it
No,
that
I don't.
you're just not talking about it?
I'm just not talking about it. I'm not in. I don't lie on stage. I don't say my boyfriend or anything. No, I just,
Do you have guys hitting on you?
The sad thing is, no one hits on me now.
You know what? All chicks think that.
You know what? I did have one old guy, and I wanted to kill myself. I think.
Like, how old was he?
Oh my God! You know, they make me feel young, and don't say my age. You know, it's the kind of thing when you realize when somebody old hits on you, you go, "Fuck, do I look that old?"
Well, it's like when you go
like,
out.
Yeah.
I go out and I'll go to some hip place, and I used to look at people and think they were my age. You know, like people in their 30s.
Yeah.
Like when I was in my 40s, I was like, oh, well, they're my age, like late 20s, early 30s. We're the same age. And now I go, oh my God, I'm like, these people are in their 30s and I'm 20 years older than them. I'm like, they're cool. They are cool for coming in here.
You know what? You walk in and I think right away people are turning to each other going, is that your mother? Did your mother come in here? That's how aging to me has just, it's freaking.
But it's also that we don't,
me out.
But we don't celebrate it. Like, you know, I had older parents, right? So my mother was 41, my father was 48 when I was born. So I was always around old people. And so the thing to me, I never even paid attention because I thought, oh, well, they're just my parents.
Right.
Even though they're 20 plus years older than everyone else's parents, you know, I still think of them.
You never felt, why are they older than my friend's parents?
I didn't even realize it until, you know, I was probably, until they lied. They lied. It was my grandmother's.
So your father went to the school dance with you in a wheelchair.
Huh. I didn't go to the school dance. Okay, take care. But no, I remember it was my grandmother's 75th birthday. My grandmother was born in 1896. So
oh my God,
it was her 75th birthday, and I was like, oh my God, Granny's so old, you know. And they're like, no, it's really her 57th. It's a joke. So that was number one.
Uh-huh.
Number two was at my father's 60th, when I was, I think, 11 or
that's
12, 11.
Wow.
He told me he was turning 50.
Oh,
so the whole day I kept going, oh, you're half a century old. You're half a century old. How does it feel to be half? And he'd been a fucking half century for 10 fucking years. And then I'll never forget, I was visiting my grandmother, and I'm doing it. I was visiting my grandmother, and I opened a drawer and I noticed it was for her prescriptions. It said birth year. It must have been like 1980, 1981. I'm over there visiting her. And it said birth year, and she had written 96, and I was like, 96? It's not even.
Yeah, 1980.
It's 1980, and I was like, oh my God! Like that's when I realized, oh my God,
1896.
That's my grandmother,
God, right?
And all my other grandparents, 1892, 1888, and something.
Jeez, wow.
Those are my grandparents.
Yeah.
All right.
Why did your parents have you so late in life? It was their.
Well, my father was in World War II, and then he came back. I don't know. My mother said she had met someone who had asked her to marry him, and she said no.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I guess she waited for the right person.
And how old was that? She was.
Let's see. They were born in She was 32. They were married in 1950. She was 31. 1954.
Now you're the youngest, aren't you?
Yes. My brother's 5.5 years old. Okay. Michelle is based on the Hebrew Michael.
Which
French-Italian roots in America. It was in the 1940s they started calling people Michelle, but it peaked in 1965.
Wow.
So you peaked in 1965.
And my career is over since then.
Yeah.
Good night. That's the year my mother died. No, my mother died in 1966.
Yeah, so I wanted to discuss that. Your mother died when you were very young.
Yes.
And,
she was 39, you believe? She was 39.
And what did she die from?
Well, there's heart disease in my family, and she was depression. I mean, now we're getting serious here. And Can you say what grade you were in? I was, oh God, yeah, if I say that, it's going to give it all away, isn't it? Well, I was young.
Were you in grammar school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
yes, was I?
Your father was healthy?
Yeah, he died young, not as young as her. He died in his 70s, but he was a womanizer. It was
all right. We're not there
crazy.
yet.
Okay, we're not there yet.
Wait, so your mother dies. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have 2 brothers and a half sister. A half sister that was I had a German stepmother.
Really?
German stepmother. Yes.
You had a German stepmother.
It was the living relative to Hitler. Oh, that's
no way.
In my book. No. She could have been. No, she could have been.
Right.
I say that because she really hated the Jews.
Okay, wait a minute.
And my
Stop.
father married her.
Wait.
It was unbelievable.
Wait, listen. Yes. So your mother's Jewish, your father's Jewish.
Right.
You have 2 brothers. How much older or younger?
6 years older, 6 years younger.
Oh, they did that 6-year plan.
Yeah,
that's very
nice. That's what
nice.
they did back then. They didn't do one after another, right? You were 5 years separate from me?
Yeah, but there's my sister who's 4 years older. Okay, so your brother
and I have a half sister who's
right, and how old? But we're not there yet.
Okay.
So your family's normal, right? Your family's normal. Like you have a mother and a father and 2 brothers, and everything's fine. You born in Coney Island,
born in Coney Island, yes.
And then you moved to Brooklyn. How old were you when you moved to Brooklyn?
You're a
badass.
Born
in Brooklyn. I was born in Coney Island.
Oh, Coney Island.
Yeah, my father was born in Coney Island.
Right.
And here's the best story. My grandparents lived in Coney Island.
Warriors. Wow.
But my grandfather was friends with this guy, Nathan Handworker. And my grandfather, he asked my grandfather, hey, you want to go into a hot dog stand with me? Nathan.
Get the fuck out of town. Get the fuck out of town.
And why'd your
Wait, so my grandfather said, I think he wanted to do it. He goes back to my grandmother, and she says, you're not giving a dime to anyone.
Oh, everyone.
Oh, my God.
Let me tell you
Every
something.
Jew has a story.
That's true.
That's
true. Every Jew has a story like this.
I know.
Wait, here's the best. When I'm walking through an airport, dragging my fucking luggage, wanting to kill myself, and I pass the Nathan's, can I tell you how I stop and cry in the airport?
Jesus.
I know that my grandfather, someone had approached him about, it was either toupees or like what is now Rogaine.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
In the 40s or something.
My grandfather was latex. My grandfather...
Well, a lot of people... the king of condoms.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
That's true. And his factory burnt down, and someone stole the recipe and burnt down the factory.
I'm sneezing.
You all right? God bless. God bless.
It's this fucking thing. It's this fucking beaver. Bullshit.
It's shed.
You're allergic to beaver?
I'm allergic to dust. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So
I
anyway,
just watched
you are right. There's a lot of those stories and you talked to, and then we go to the Friars Club where they did those things. They're all rich there now because they all. Yeah,
they all stole it from our grandfathers.
They go, I worked for a guy who made draperies. Now I own the business, you know.
Yes.
Okay. So
here, give me that.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I just watched it, so unless
Okay,
my
whatever.
dryer...
So-
Washed your beaver?
I wash my beaver all the time.
Okay, so
Gotta stay clean.
It's a crazy show.
I know, because no one will shut the fuck up and let me talk. I am the host, so shut up.
You were
Okay.
sneezing.
So
Exactly.
was everything normal? And then did your mother get sick? What happened?
No, what happened was it wasn't all normal. My father was kind of a cheater.
Mm-hmm. Did you? And how old were you when you knew your father was cheating?
You know, I didn't really know when I was younger. I didn't really know. Because, I mean, I saw my mother was unhappy, and my mother and I were very close. We were born on the same day, November 6th.
Oh, I'm a Scorpio.
I know you
November
are.
15th.
I know.
Yeah.
I always say happy birthday to you. I
Okay.
don't get a happy birthday.
Yes, you do.
back.
Happy birthday,
But,
go.
so we were born on the same day, my mom and I.
Yeah.
And we just somehow, because I was the daughter, we bonded. And
Right.
my older brother was off doing his thing. My younger brother was a baby. And so we got right, and I could see, you know, I didn't know I knew something, but we kept moving, and he would live with us, then he wouldn't live with us.
Wait, where
then
would
he
you
would
move? In Brooklyn?
In Brooklyn, you know, just apartment to apartment.
Right.
And I didn't know why. I didn't know. And then he would be there, and then he wouldn't be there.
Did your mother work?
She was when she was younger, she worked. And then, I don't know, she threw him out. And then he would come back, and then we'd move. And then when she died, we had just moved to Canarsie.
Oh,
Canarsie.
wow.
We moved to a house, my uncle's house. We moved into the house. And it was right after New Year's. That's why I hate New Year's Eve. I hate fucking New Year's Eve.
Right.
So, and...
Was it sudden you with your mother?
I was alone with her.
What?
When it happened, I was sitting alone. I have a whole story about it in my book.
Well, you can talk about it right
in my
now.
book. I have a
Okay,
whole story
so
about it in
you're
my-
alone?
My
How-
book, my
What's
show,
your book?
my-
Tell
I
us
don't
what
know.
your...
I've been writing it.
Okay, all right,
Writing
calm
it.
down.
I see.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. It's
Okay.
going to be called now that she's dead. Maybe she'll finish it because
All right,
I can't seem to finish the
Right.
fucking
You
thing.
sound like a writer.
Yeah. Well,
All
you
right,
know what?
Tennessee.
Yeah.
BP. That's voice probation. All right, so
voice probation. That's
okay,
hilarious.
wait. So you're
So no,
you're under
so-
10.
Yeah, I'm 10 years old.
Okay.
I'm in my bedroom, and
Right.
we had a house for the first time. You know, we
Right.
all grew up.
Yeah.
Well, you were in Jersey, but we grew up
Right.
with apartment buildings.
We lived in an apartment till I was
Oh, did you?
5 and a half.
Oh, yeah. We've never lived in a house. I didn't know what that was.
Mhm.
And so I was upstairs in my bedroom because we lived in the house, and I heard my mother calling my name, Michelle, Michelle, screaming my name. Now, my mother was fucking tough, man. She really
Right.
was. She was a tough. She beat up my brother's rabbi because he hit her. He hit my brother.
No way.
She went up to the yeshiva, fucking punched him out, and then my brother was in public school after that. But she was really...
Good for her.
She was from Detroit, Michigan, and
Right.
her mother, my grandmother, who was crazy, was a bootlegger.
No way.
So she grew up with a bootlegger. Her
Right.
mother was a bootlegger. And my grandfather did boxing. Of course, my grandmother...
a lot of Jews did boxing.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah, it was the whole in the
It was
20s.
the whole boxing.
Yes.
But you know what my grandmother would say to him? You boxed oranges, you moron.
Oh, shit.
So everyone loved.
Anyway.
All the relationships were really positive in your family.
Positive.
Okay, so
Yeah,
your mother calls you.
So she calls me and it was the subway. This is why I was home. It was the subway strike of the year. It was when all the subways. So
Right.
nobody was around, and my
Right.
father was on his way to work in the car or whatever. And so that's why I was home from school. Now
Right.
I hated school because we always moved. You know, when you move in
Right.
the middle of the fucking year,
Yeah,
then you're the target.
right.
So they were yelling. They were, this one girl trying to beat. She was like 400 pounds, and a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old that was so big. She was, I was the one. She was the bully, and I was
Right.
being bullied.
Oh, fuck.
And so I didn't want to go to school. I was
Right.
being bullied. And she thought her boyfriend liked me, her little boyfriend, and blah, blah, blah. So it's
God.
always running from
She's
fucking
a fucking
Shrek.
asshole.
Yeah,
Okay.
running
What was
from
her
Shrek.
name?
I have no idea.
Shrek.
She was Shrek.
Was she Jewish?
I don't remember.
All right, let's make her Jewish.
Yeah. I doubt it. She was a bully.
Oh, all right. Oh, yeah. Well,
She was German.
Yeah, she was, yeah.
okay.
They were in a lot of
BP, go.
Jewish bullies, were they? Anyway, so when we had a day off from school because of the subway strike, so when my mother was calling me, I thought she was going to tell me the fucking schools are open, that the subway strike is off.
Right.
So I didn't answer. I'm like, I am not going downstairs because that means I got to go to school. And she's calling me, and then I'm thinking to myself, knowing my mother, she would have been up here. She would have pulled me up by the neck
Right.
and put me out to school because she was a tough lady. Even though I loved her to death, she fucking was tough. And I'm thinking, how come she didn't come up here? So that's when I go down. and I see her on the couch, holding herself, going, I'm going to die. This is what she says to me, Michelle, I'm going to die. And I'm like a kid. I'm like...
Did you cry?
No, I didn't know what to... I thought it was, I was scared. I wasn't crying. I didn't know what do you do?
Right.
Of course.
I'm like in shock. What do
There's nothing to do.
Well, I go, you're not going to die. What are you talking about? I don't know. All I know is what a kid does is you go get a wet washcloth and you put it on their head. That's what you learn. That's all you learn.
That's very Jewish.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
You put a washcloth on her head. And I don't think, I knew nothing about 911. Did you know 911?
No, not until we were, when did can you look up when 911 started?
Yeah, when did I didn't know.
Because I was a kid when 911 started, I think.
Yeah, and I wouldn't know today you pick up the phone, you call 911. So, I didn't know. And, what do? I called my grandmother, but she was already in Sheepshead Bay, and there's no way to get to Canarsie in a subway strike.
Right.
Oh, my God.
So, then I called my father's office.
1968. 911.
That's when it started?
Yeah, first call in Alabama.
What the hell did we do before that?
I remember when it started because we got taught that in school.
Yeah, but what did we do before 911?
I guess you called the...
Zero?
The doctor?
5555555. Oh, yeah, you probably called the operator.
Zero. Yeah, connect me to the police.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Murray Hill 4, 3555.
All right, back to your mother.
Okay, so, this is an uplifting podcast, isn't it?
I love information.
It's called Kill Me Now.
It's called Kill Me Now. Go ahead.
Kill myself. Anyway, so then I called my father's office, and he wasn't there because they were all stuck in traffic, trying to get to work because there's no subway, so blah, 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 blah. So then I called my neighbor, my little friend up the block, her mom, and her mother. I said, and this is me going, my mother's going to die. That's how I pick up.
Right.
And she goes, I'm having my coffee.
No way.
And then I'll come over. That sounded Jewish.
Yes, that was very Jewish.
I don't even know if she was Jewish.
All right.
And I go, so what do I know? I'm just there, and my mother's, telling me she loves me, and I'm dying there. I don't know what to do. I can't. But my little brother's, he's a baby. He's up, he's like a little thing. And so then it's all in my book that's coming out. It's called I'm Going to Kill Myself. Anyway, no, it's actually, the title is I Never Had Piano Lessons. I don't know why.
All right.
Okay. So finally, this neighbor came over, and she realized the severity of my mom. What happened?
Is this the coffee neighbor?
Yeah. So once she came in,
right.
She came. I think I could see on her face that something, and then all of a sudden she called other neighbors, and the house got busy, and there's a lot of.
But your mother's still alive at this point.
Yes, she's still alive. She's still, from what I know. All of a sudden, it just seemed like, and that's the funny. It's like all of a sudden.
Did the ambulance come?
I don't know. What happened was that's why she's dead, because of the subway strike.
Oh, fuck!
The ambulance could not get to us in time, and that's why she could have been saved, but because of the, in those days too, like I said, because of the strike and they couldn't get to her.
That is horrible.
She would have been saved. She would have been saved. And they did a little story about her in the Hadassah magazine in Canarsie.
Wow.
So I didn't know, but I didn't know what happened was. So now, me and my little brother shuffled off to my neighbor's house. They're like, you wait over there.
Right.
The last thing I saw is they brought my mother up to the bed. I don't know how. When shit happens, you're young, and I can't even explain how she got up to the bedroom.
The fact that you remember all of this is pretty miraculous.
Well, there's a lot I don't remember, and but it just was like
what happened when your father came? Sorry, go ahead.
So I go upstairs and I see her in bed and I'm thinking. So now I get shuffled off to my neighbor's house.
Are you crying at this point?
I'm in shock.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm not really crying yet because I don't know what's happening. I think she's going to be okay. I think they're going to fix her. She's going to be fine. So I'm at the neighbor's house. The neighbor comes running in, and she runs upstairs. She doesn't even, and I'm looking, going, that was, my head, I'm going, that was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Then my uncle and my aunt come, and they go, you're going to be staying with us, you and Jeffrey, for a little bit. And I go, where's my mom? He goes, my uncle said, she's fine. She's going to be okay. That's what they told me.
Yeah,
she died already. She's going to be okay. She's fine. This is what they told me. So I was like, but you have to stay with us for a few days. With your Aunt Roz, you're going to stay with.
That's so fucked up. I'm sorry that you went through that.
Yeah. So then I get there to my Aunt Roz's house, and I see her look like she'd been crying.
Right.
And I kind of, that moment, I knew,
Of course.
And I said, did my mother die? And she just bursted out crying. I bursted out crying, and then my little brother didn't know why we were crying. And it was just, my world changed that moment. My whole world.
And you're so young, and it's like that to me, I mean, losing your mother or a parent, so young.
Yeah.
I mean, because
I always say, people, they died quickly. I go, but there's something to be said about getting sick and getting the opportunity to say goodbye.
I had both. I had one drop dead and one.
Right. And you kind of unhappy. I mean, are you glad? I mean, you don't want to see them suffer, but you want to have the opportunity
to say, listen,
I loved you. Yeah. I know we fought about this and da-da-da-da. But when it happens like that, you just go, look, there's so many things I never said I want to say. And, then I remember when I fight with my mother when I was a kid, I hate you. I fucking hate you. You should die. How many times did you say you should die?
Oh, my God, I hope you die.
Yeah, I hope you die. And then you think...
They never take that seriously.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, but when you're young, after that happens, you say that, you think...
But I have to say, since I'm the only mother in this room, you don't take it seriously. Like, it's like,
that
they love you. Unless the kid's psychotic. And then you're like, oh my God.
He really wants you back. Yeah. And it just might kill you. Yeah.
So you stayed with your aunt and uncle.
Well, I stayed there for a while. And then
with your little brother. What's his name?
My little brother, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And then my life from there was just a fucking disaster. Just a disaster.
And did you cry a lot? Did you go to therapy?
Did
you talk to anyone?
Nobody in those days. They didn't let me go to the funeral.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Because they didn't talk. It's funny. I wrote this about because they didn't even discuss it with me. I mean, they thought when you're that age, you'll forget.
Right.
That all of a sudden I'll go, did I once have a mother?
Right.
Is she in Florida? You know what I mean? Like they think you're too young. So, I mean, today it's different.
I mean, they didn't talk about anything.
Anything. So I just went through life in the beginning, couple of years where I was. Like a little I was really not well.
I was not in shock.
I was in shock. I was a recluse. I wouldn't go play with other kids.
Of course.
I just kind of I was in a daze.
And it must have been like
I was in a fucking daze. I didn't know.
Right.
My father, he was the kind that was like, what the fuck do I do now? I have kids.
Well, he had to remarry because that's what they did.
Well, he didn't at first. He moved us back to Sheepshead Bay.
Right.
And he had my grandmother, my mother's mom, to take care of us. And he had to pay her because she hated kids.
Oh, fuck.
My God.
So she, every day.
This is like Annie.
Yeah. This is my growing up. My grandmother would be like, I hate you kids. This is every day. I hate you kids.
And that's how your mother grew up.
Yes.
Yeah.
My mother and my grandmother had a very weird.
Right. So your grandmother. Right.
And my grandmother was in love with my father, but I shouldn't really say that on the thing. But anyway, it was crazy.
Did they have sex?
I don't know. Anyhow.
Go ahead.
I'm getting too real here on this thing.
This is what it's about, baby.
Is it?
Yeah.
Everyone. Oh my God. You
heard
There are people who are going to hear this who relate to you so much.
And are really so thankful.
All right. So, yes, they did.
So.
My mother caught them.
Fuck.
No way. Was your grandmother hot?
Judy! What the fuck is your problem?
You sure I should go this far? Now I'm feeling
I'm
you're about this shit on I'm
just saying.
It doesn't matter.
I'll be killing myself tonight. I have to realize that.
It's so fucking fascinating. And do you know how many people, it's these secrets. Remember during the AIDS crisis, silence equals death. Silence equals death.
Yeah, we all have stories like this.
Silence for me equals a lot of medication. antidepressants,
Right.
anti-anxiety.
All right, we'll get to that at the end.
Okay.
Anyway, so they were basically having a relationship.
And that's why my mother was so depressed. And it was crazy. And anyway, so my grandmother really was, it was a mess. So she would come and feed us, I think. I think she fed us. And then she'd go play bingo and blah, 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 blah. And I would hang out with my grandfather who had a stroke while we were watching TV. I'm like,
no, wait, you were in the room when he had a stroke?
Alone again. I'm like,
oh God, get out of my apartment. Get out.
That's what I'm thinking. Am I killing people?
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, what is this?
It's like you went through so much fucking shit before you were even like 16 years old.
Oh, God, I'm telling you. And then, wait, it got worse with my stepmother.
There is more to come, ladies and gentlemen. So you better
come back
here next week for part 2 of Michele Balan.
Thank you, Michelle, for sharing that. Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you. Oh,
we didn't even ask the other questions yet.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
We will.
This is very exciting.
Thank you.
All
my God, this is terrible. Everybody's going to be... How many listeners?
We got a lot.
A billion.
Oh, my God.
It's going to be good. It's good for you. All right. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
By the way, Florida, fuck Irma, because I'm going to be there this Saturday, this Sunday. That's September 23rd, 24th.
22nd, 23rd, and 24th.
September 24th, Henry's turning 21.
Oh, God.
And then September...
And Ben's turning 6'8".
Yeah. September 26th, I will be in Orlando, and September 27th, I will be in Tampa. All right, listen, thank you, Michelle.
You're very welcome,
We're
honey.
picking this up in a little bit, and thank you all for listening. So long!
And everything was wonderful. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the visit. So long.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.